Well, in case you didn't know, today is Conflict Resolution Day, and whether it's in our relationships, the workplace, or at home, conflict is something we all have to deal with from time to time. The way we resolve it can significantly impact our happiness and peace of mind. That is an understatement. This is what Blanca Cobb, who has a master's degree in psychology, that's what we're talking about. Blanca, let's get right to it. So one thing that stands out is that most people tend to get certain aspects of conflict resolution wrong. Let's talk about the common mistakes people make.
Well, common mistake is focusing on being right versus resolving the problem. Sometimes people want to win. They want to prove a point and they're going to keep talking until the other person kind of like gives in. What happens is when you do that, the other person can get defensive and you're not really resolving anything. The second mistake is some people will choose to avoid conflict at all costs, thinking that if I ignore it, it's going to go away. A lot of times that doesn't happen. Instead, there's a lot of resentment and hurt feelings and the conflict continues.
So how do we get conflict resolution right? Then what are some tips on that?
To get conflict resolution right, you really want to active listen. You want to be empathetic to the other person. You want to understand their perspective and the issues from their point of view. Because when they feel heard and understood, this doesn't mean you have to agree with them, but when they feel heard and understood, guess what? They're more likely to want to talk to you and to resolve the situation. And you also, when you feel like it's getting a little too tense between the two of you, or maybe you're just feeling a little anxious or a little upset or a little hot under the collar, if you will, it's okay to take a 5-minute break and say, hey, look, why don't we just take a few minutes? Let me cool down. I want to come back in and continue a conversation, and then focus on common ground. If you can focus on common ground, it makes it easier to solve the problem and to resolve the situation.
So what if you had to say, what's the one thing people misunderstand most about conflict resolution, what would that be?
People feel like conflict is inherently bad and it should be avoided at all costs. And that isn't the case at all, because we can grow. Growth comes from conflict. When you handle conflict correctly, what happens is you can understand the other person better. And if you understand them better and they feel understood, what happens as a byproduct is you tend to feel closer to this other person, because you're like, oh wow, they really get where I'm coming from. Or I could share what was on my mind without this turning into an argument. And so you tend to gravitate more towards that person.
It's very true. It's almost empathy goes a long way when it comes to arguing, that's for sure. Yep. All right, thank you, Blanca. You can continue that conversation with Blanca on her Facebook page. Just look up Blanca Cobb, Body Language Expert.